Good morning, everybody. All right, let's see where things are at here. The big economics numbers are out. Market's jiggling around. Not too much, nothing of real significance happening. Kind of, I don't know. It's always interesting. Let's look at the charts. You know. All right, so markets flipped around. They're up. No big deal. Inside bar so far. Yesterday, as you can see, prices were rejected as they pushed up here. But look, one bar doesn't change a thing. What does it communicate to us? Um, Small candle body means momentum is stalled. Okay, it's one piece of information. What do we do with that? Nothing in the moment. So what do we do today? Well, it depends on the time frame that we're looking at and what we're interested in. Clearly, the trend is still up. It's grinding higher after the breakout in the wide range bar. So it continues to plod its way up step by step. Does it violate a prior day's low? So far, no, not during here. If it does it close below a prior day's low? So far, no. This is, again, the thought process, systematic, objective, basically no opinion needed and not wanted. That's what gets us in trouble. And then from that point, if we did get a situation where prices, and this is, I'm looking at the futures here, but we could apply this to anything. If we get something in an uptrend and it breaks and closes below a prior day's low, then what? Well, you have to go to the next part of the thought process, the questions. Is it extended? And we could say, is this extended? It's an interesting question here, because as we look at the broader markets, you look at the distance between the 200 and the 50, and that's extended compared to, say, what it normally would be. And if you scroll back, you can see back here where they were converging and tight. But it went sideways for all of this time. So if it was to close below a prior day's low, we say, okay, after a topping tail bar, we say, all right, it's likely to pull back. Okay, pull back to where? Minor support. Would that change the trend? No. And so as much as we might think the markets are extended, they're likely to pull back, do they ever tell us that we should do something? What does that mean, do something? Well, we're all here for one thing, to try and make money out of an event and whatever it is. So from the daily time frame, there's nothing to do. If you're long, okay, let's see how long it can plot its way up. But that topping tail at this point, the question, can it get above it? Did it mean anything other than what we know it meant? Do we get an inside day? Now, if we get an inside day, remember what was happening, previously, and it got extended and it went sideways and did nothing and it broke out. So one of the observations as we look at this is, strong advance, sideways, bullish. When do we know it's bullish? When it breaks out again, right? Pivot highs, pivot lows, pretty strong advance. Again, not as strong as these two. And now it comes down to minor support. It's up here. We're going to see what it does today. Does this become, we're head and shoulders top? And so all of these things, that thoughts of if, doesn't tell us to do anything. And we come back to the same conclusion here. The trend is up. Yesterday it was rejected a bit. What's going to happen next? Well, I don't know. That'll be tomorrow morning's discussion, other than what we'll discuss in the green room today as to, what happens intraday. Does this move up, fail, and retrace back down here again? This like just explaining the step-by-step thought process about what's going on here. Um, rather than us think, oh, it's going to break lower, it's going to do this. So far, it just looks like it's going to continue to go up. But yesterday, um, it got rejected after breaking above 4,600, 4,900. So, and I know there's a relatively large open interest there. So, what we're going to be looking for, right? One of the things to be looking for today, prices are, go back and look at spiders again, but I think they're somewhere around here, give or take, right around 4,900. So they momentarily got above it yesterday and collapsed back down again and stopped, into this unfilled gap or gap fill. I don't know exactly, did it actually fill it or not? Well, no, I guess it didn't. It missed it by a few ticks on the way down, as the market closed, but it got close enough for government work, as they say. And now, it's up. I'm going to look at the spiders. And what does it do? Does it double top at 4,900 and break here? So if we begin to see a violation of the trend, let's say on a minimum on the hourly time frame, things begin to shift, especially since prices are up here now. So we're monitoring this. The trend is up on the daily. The trend is up on the weekly. By the end of the day tomorrow, we'll see what the weekly bar looks like. Right now, we see a little topping tail slowing momentum bar. Not a big deal. Step by step. Step by step. Where are the spiders? Those are the SPX levels that I have today. Near yesterday's open. And so my crosshairs are on the daily chart. Near yesterday's open, go back to SPX, which doesn't show us the gap. So, there's still 20 minutes to go, opening here. And what's interesting lately is that the strikes that we're looking for day to day recently have been about in the middle of where things open, and it never gets to either one. So which one do you play? It's kind of like, does it make a difference? Well, at some point it's going to make a difference for sure. So at this point, can the S&Ps get up to 4920? We know it's struggling at 4,900 because it got above and it got rejected. And that's going to be resistance today. Can it get through 4,900? So that was what was on the opening slide. That's what we're interested in when we look at the S&Ps here. Can it get back above there? As I said, it's at the open. Can it get back above 4,900? So what we'll look for today is obviously, can it? And so historically, what would result in it going higher? Typically going sideways for a while under 4,900, just like any other resistance area. But here we have these options that are expiring either today or tomorrow, the end of the week. And so going sideways there, those option traders that are holding those calls, they're sitting there saying, man, if this thing can go up, I'm going to be making some good money. Whereas if it starts to get rejected, they have to make a decision as to, do they bail? And so if the idea, if it hangs there for a while and it starts to break out, that's going to help drive it higher. And maybe, yesterday we said, is this gap up going to result in a blow off top? Well, we still don't know. It's just plotting its way. But if it hangs at 4,900 and then it starts to break out, it increases the potential for it to go up. So keep that in mind. It's something that we'll watch for. And right now, if we look at other markets, tech land has been doing the best. And we see accidents happen. Someone in the green room here is mentioning Humana, which I saw the news on that. That's gapping down. I think Tesla's gapping down. Dan will cover those. But we've got another unfilled gap here. So it's kind of, the irrational exuberance scenario, consolidation, Gap up, not filled. Gap up, not filled. Gap up, looks like that was filled. Gap up so far, not filled. Is it getting a little ahead of itself? I think so. And so now, where is it? Gap up, inside gap. Does it hold here? And then push higher. So as much as we might say this thing's got to pull back at some point, which it will, doesn't have to do it today. And we just have to see how this unfolds and the whole conversation. Does it break below a prior day's low? Does it close below a prior day's low? And so on. So step by step. All right. NASDAQ futures, grinding its way higher. Two wide range bars, up bar. So here, breaks below a prior day's low. Get back up again. This was the little continuation pattern that we spoke about yesterday morning. It continues higher. Rejection. Gap up today. So far, grinding. We'll see. Does it violate this support? There's a next support here. I don't think it's not going to collapse. Russell is lagging. Maybe a little catch up. I would love to see this thing close well today. What does that mean? Close green like this, maybe a little bit higher. So if the markets can close positive, while we may see an acceleration higher in the S&Ps and maybe the Qs blow off, I think the Russell is going to be the trade to do, the catch-up trade, as we call it. As this pulled back, and then it moves back up. And if we get this bullish price action at resistance, define bullish price action. Well, topping tail is not going down. If it's green and you get a red bar ignored, and this can close like that and it takes out these highs, the next thought is buy signal. It should go up. But we'll see where this ends. Is it just trading inside day? Maybe if it's another topping tail, right? Well, you know what that means. YM and consolidating, that's bullish. And it broke down. It sprung right back up again. I don't know, call it some kind of a flag, maybe. We'll see, what this does. I don't know what it's going to do today. It doesn't have to look like this at the end of the day. Maybe it takes off. Maybe today's going to be, running in place. I have nothing to do right now with something that looks like this. I don't know what it's going to do because there's no pattern here to do anything. Not from a daily time frame. I mean, yesterday we had a short-term trade. What was it? What was it yesterday morning? I think it was here. I forget. It was you had the high tick extreme. It was like a little scalper trade in the morning. It was in the morning yesterday. Anyway, we're in the green room there. If you were there, Bitcoin, it's been grinding down here. Still looks like it's going to go lower. Interest rates down a little bit. Now here's something to keep an eye on. All right. Now that this sideways consolidation here, we had that red bar from yesterday, green bar yesterday. That green bar becomes a significant support point. This is trading inside that bar. So set an alert up above here, set an alert down here. And if interest rates are just flip-flopping back and forth, it's not going to mean a whole heck of a lot. Intraday, if they're moving down, the markets tend to like that. And if this begins to drop, the odds are, the inverse relationship is that the S&P is going to push up to here. Right? It's a little extended at this point, but at that point, zero DTE traders should be thinking or looking at, can I now do a call spread at 49.30 or 35 if that runs up? Remember, we want to get far enough away where it appears to be a no-brainer. And as going up, this strike may have to come up a little bit. And it's far enough away, as I'm talking and looking at this and the scenario, it may be fine to do an iron condor. which each day that would have been fine. Again, you got to manage them, you know. Um, Oil. Well, let's look at gold. Gold, it's all over the place. There's just nothing to do. Silver, getting down to support. Nothing really to do. Uh, Crude oil seems to be, well, there, it just broke out. And, yesterday I mentioned in the green room that this thing is improving. It backed off a little bit, and we're talking about USO, and, it backed off a little bit, but I think this again is something that the markets aren't paying much attention to because it's not doing much. But I think if this starts to break out from here, and you see the 10-year, well, whether you're looking at TBT, starts getting above this high, and of course you can look at the dollar. I think more things come into alignment that's going to rattle the markets, and they're going to sell off. But right now, we just don't know. We don't know. Sentiment tells us maybe it could be any day. And breadth has deteriorated enough, but this breadth number, if IWM again is gapping up here, if this can hold on to it, I think by the end of the day today, we're going to have more information to maybe be more confident about a direction. So with all that said, and what we're looking at, I think we're going to need by the end of today to see where things end the day, to where, can we continue up or whatever, so all yours, Dan.
Good morning. We have a lot of earnings, so let's jump right to it. Let's see what alarms I have to go off first here. CMCSA. We are core long this. We legged into a covered call, so covered call was perfect. Nothing to do now. Intel, we're short 42 puts. I moved stop yesterday, Thursday, moved stop to Tuesday's low, or dime under it, let it expire full profit. Let's see, like I said, an Upwork alarm go off. We have a third lot of that. And it's in a trading range, but having a tough time. Home Depot, we have a call spread. We're in trail mode. Marriott, we're in trail mode. I said move. My low alarm went off. I don't see any prints though, but I said move stop. 5-minute low. I'll set an alarm 237 here. YouTube, real quick. I don't want to look at earnings. So GS. Yeah. Did I lose my pre-market? No. All right, I don't see any pre-market, but yeah, that's a sell setup. Potent reversal. Raul Axel Foley, same. Yeah, I like it reversing at the 50 and that gap fill. And Tisha. Yeah, it's a bear flag. I don't know if yesterday's low is the proper entry just because these other lows are so close. But yeah, it's a bear, kind of a bear flag in a downtrend. So I like it. All right, let's go up here. Earnings. All right, Tesla. For Tesla. I didn't do any earnings trades yesterday. I mean, this one, I'm not a fundamentalist, but I use common sense. And yes, it's down a lot, but all this news about people getting sick of their EVs, slower demand, they're having to lower prices, China's having trouble, that you can't charge them in cold weather. And this is not a potent turn to sell a put on, in my opinion. And, this is ugly. Um, you know, okay, so it's gapping under this prior low. I don't know. I don't have a bias yet, but it's bearish pre-market too. But it's a FANG, it's a usual suspect, so of course I'll keep an eye on it. I made the comment the semis have just been on a tear here. AMD gapping all-time highs, Nvidia strong, SMH is strong. CSX set an alarm. I see it down up a little bit. Yeah, of course, Alex. Yeah, I'm going through them as fast as I can here. LVS 5150 gap no prior high, no interest. But I said yesterday the weekly looks like it's bottoming. Remember I said yesterday I hope this thing gaps up $10 plus. It's exactly what it's doing. So 30-minute low. This could be a gap in crap. I have no idea. It could gap up and rally another $10. I have no friggin' idea. But I got it here in the bottom right. This I don't see any trades. Will come back. STX. It's too extended. I'd be selling if I run it. K and X. I see a print down here 56. That could be a call spread and a 30-minute low short. CCI. This one I said yesterday. I hope it opens flat and then you could short the day's low. So I'm going to now set an alarm at 106 because if it gives up this bullish gap, then that still looks lower. Now, yeah, that's bullish pre-market 780. It's a bullish gap, but that's not one to short. I mean, this is bullish price action. Here's a nice continuation pattern, and that's bullish pre-market. That thing is strong. LRCX 870. Now this one's a better gap and crap potential. IWM's the best, but this one's better than NOW. WRB could be 30-minute low, call spread again. If my option traders want to help me monitor these, because now if it's gapping up to 79, look how far it is from the 20. RJF, I don't see any prints. I'm cold. That's nasty. Gapping below the 200. I have no idea what it's going to do though. We'll come back to it. Now Sierra might gapping up. Be a put spread under Tuesday's low if there's any juice. RMD, I don't see any prints, but the minder here is showing 187. We'll come back to you. Slug. No pattern. Phil, PayPal, call spread. Over the week's high, sure. If there's any juice, week's high, sure. Alex KKR. I don't see any prints, but it's a bullish consolidation. URI, gap's too big for me, but if we get a controlled pullback, I like it. This one, 98.50, gap's too big to the downside. Now package. This would be a great trade over yesterday's high as red bar ignored breakout. I'm going to set an alarm at 167. I can't tell where it's gapping, but see my 15-minute chart. Just, right there, 166.70 even. This was a sell setup. Gapping down a little. That looks lower. Excel gapping down. Wow, that's a nasty gap. Now, hopefully it keeps going down to 60 and then we get a reversal. 1250, gap's too big. AMP, no prints. Berkel, no prints. This is all pre-market. Look at that flat. So our covered call was perfect. This one could 30-minute low call spread, UNP. A knee, 58 and change. This could bounce another day or two, just a bounce in a downtrend. Put spread also. 198. It's nothing. Bravo X-ray I posted as a 10-minute long. This is a nice turn at the 50, buy setup weekly. It's gapping right over this red bar and it has a big void. So this and well, you know what? Shoot, now the gap's kind of too big. All right, so I'm gonna tell them to hold off on BX because I want a pullback instead. I don't want to chase 10-minute high. Now I see the gap's a little too big for me. I was hoping it was $1 lower. All right, so let me just delete that off the spreadsheet. Sherwin-Williams, remember again, fundamentally, I'm no fundamentalist, but I said I have a bearish bias on this pattern. Potential M-top weekly, the sector's been getting hit, the housing, Home Depots, etc. So this is a good 30-minute low trade, also a call spread. I'm going to put that in a window. Mondelez alarm. This was a 1, 2, 3 Mondelez. 10, 15, 30-minute high look good. I'm going to put that in a window. Knock. Knock had to take some charge on earnings, whatever. That's a bearish gap. Obvious call spread if there's any juice. Humana. Yeah, Bali, I don't know what got you into this, my friend. I remember reviewing these yesterday, and I said it was a long over yesterday's high. It was a put spread. Not I did not say do a put spread into earnings. But I got it in a window to watch with you. Earl asking about CCJ. Earl, we bought this yesterday. We as a buy setup. I like the sector. I would be a little patient just because of the big old topping tail. But set an alarm at 48.20 and then, see what it looks like. Below, we said I was going to sell puts, but there was no juice. There's really no great pattern. All right, Bali, it happens to all of us. Trust me. If you had not done mistakes as a trader, then you're either not a trader or you're lying. We've all done them. Just got to learn from them. STM gapping down. Set an alarm at Tuesday's low. Could be a call spread. Well, here, I'll just do it. All right, I'll do this 44. Well, 45. I'll set a low alarm. That's an ADR though. But alarms are great. Just move on. Don't even worry about them. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question, Alex, but I didn't want to get sidetracked right now. I was curious. All right, my package alarm went off, but I don't see any prints. Yeah, I was curious about that too. All right, package alarm went off, but no prints. All right, if somebody can watch package, well, here it says 172. All right, I can't waste time on this. All right, I'll put it in the window. Why are there no prints? All right, let me keep moving on. All right, Dow put spread yesterday's low. If there's any juice, XEL, no pattern. Well, pattern's actually lower, but it's down so much. Nokia gap's too big. LUV gap's too big, but that was on our long watch. We were pounding the table on this bull rectangle on the weekly. MKC night is a 1, 2, 3 put spread idea. Today's low. My option traders, I need help. If somebody wants to look, 66 or lower put spread for tomorrow. I mean, wow, AAL, top of the range. We don't buy breakouts bottom to the top, but look at that sloppy bull flag on the weekly with a void. Junky American Airlines looks higher. All right, this thing's ugly. Yeah, no, you can't mess with expensive stocks like that. Earnings at the open. Yeah, Jay, that's a field day for the friggin' crooks, market makers. EXP. There's a print up here at 210. Let's watch 30-minute high, EXP. All right, CCJ. Oh shoot, I had a down alarm. It's not near our stop, but you know, I set alarms early. So I'll set a new alarm. Yeah, I don't like this retracement at all. CCJ, where's our stop? 45.78. So the guy on YouTube, if you're still there, I don't know. I would say, you know, no, a big no for CCJ right now. All right, Bravo X-rays coming in hard, so I'm in no rush. IWM is a gap and go as of now. Wow. All right, Home Depot. Home Depot, we covered half yesterday. Gap up. Let's see where our call spread is. We have 365.